Okay, so message here before I do this painting today. We are vibrational beings, and your point of attraction can influence the world and the conditions around you. It doesn't have to be the other way around, where what's happening around you is influencing you. So then you become a victim to circumstances. And that's the point of this video today. So welcome in this very new now moment. Thank you for being here. So there is a general premise in the world with humanity that it seems like the world is coming at us, that there are things that are out of our control, that we have no say in it, that we just have to slaw them along and be victims in a way, or abide to that which is happening around us. Whatever it is personally for you in your life. It could be the macro, it could be the governments. If you wish that would change, then your life would be better. Or it could be personal. It could be a relationship that you have with yourself or another. Maybe it's your neighbors, organizations, or anything that you're doing in your life where you're finding that it seems like that you're going up against something and it's just not changing no matter how hard you try. I had a client recently tell me, I had to leave a job because I tried so much to, make everybody around me happy. And, if they were happy, then I could get to work. I just want to be in a job that makes me feel good, be around good people, and just move through the day and have a good day. And she was fighting these people left and right. And she stayed in a job for years that she wasn't a match to, because there was a general premise that if they would change, then she would feel better. So you can influence the conditions around you by being in that unconditional state. And it takes practice. You're leaning towards the positive. You'll at all times to feel good no matter what. That is the goal of being a human being, is that your feelings matter, because your feelings are your point of attraction. And the force that governs everything will give you accordingly to what you focus on and give your attention to. So if you're in a circumstance and you're battling at it, and again, a battle with anything is a battle against yourself. Because if you understand the mechanics and the laws of creation, and you really understand this, and you took the time to do the inner work, the non-action action work, to have at least resistance as possible for yourself, and you really understand this, then you move accordingly to the world around you. And you can literally bend reality to suit you. But how do we do this? It's certainly not giving in to anger, frustration, depression, despair at the bottom there, or any of the lower emotions, and fight someone for them to change. Because the law of attraction will continue to give you that same vibration, because you're giving your attention to it. Whatever you give your attention to will show up. In duality, which we hear in the time-space reality, there's always two ends. Okay, there's one end or the other. It's like the battery that's positive and negative. At any given time, whatever you're giving your attention to, you will create in your reality. Okay? So again, like attracts like. You could be on one end of the stick and the other person could be on the other. You're joining the stick. Okay? So you walk off. So that's attracting situations in which you do not want in your life. And you understanding, wait a second, I am giving my attention and my focus to something that I do not like. If that person over there would change, then I would be happier. If the governments would change, then my life and my financial circumstance and everything about me would change. So a big metaphor what's happening right now is that you have people joining into the group, and that's how they work together and form a consensus, that the economy is in turmoil. And so you have businesses raising prices and you have inflation going on because there is a common agreement and you get enough people agreeing upon it, well, then they'll create that reality. And so, how do we as individuals not give our attention to things in which does not make us feel good? In the world, your friends, your family, unless they know about deliberate creation, they're not going to tell you this. They're going to think you live in a fantasy world. That's why you don't go off and share this with too many people. You know they're not going to understand it. If they're in a receptive mode, that's fine. Then they're open to receive what you have to say. But other than that, no, you keep it to yourself. You do whatever it takes to make you feel good at any given moment. And it is a consistent recalibration. You don't one day wake up and you're enlightened and all of a sudden someone gives you a degree for that. You're not going to get that because it's a constant moment to moment thing as you are in this time and space reality. Okay, you will hit an omega point at one point and you'll feel lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and it just gets, there's no end to this. So say something's going on around you and you're just throwing your weight around, and for some reason as humans we do that. We don't know why we do this. It's almost like we get addicted to it. It's almost like it feels good to feel bad. We were trained to feel bad and to talk with ourselves and then others about how awful a situation is, a person, a circumstance. And then when we do that, we're constantly feeding that which we don't want. The law of attraction gets its force around it and gives it to you. Doesn't hear your words, knows what you feel. And so your feeling is your point of attraction. Thoughts are vibrations, and the vibrations create emotions. And your emotions is your attraction point to any given moment in which you're experiencing. So you can turn the ship around. It takes a little time because there may have been some momentum built up that that there's no way you can get in the way of that. No, the law of attraction is the grandest force of all. You can't get in the way of that which you've already done. So you just write it out. Whatever you're in, whatever circumstance that's going on right now that doesn't feel good, write it out. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. If you can't sleep, distract yourself. Do anything possible to distract yourself, okay? There's tools to use to not give your attention to the conditional things around you because they're not going to change just because you want it to. So what you do is you live in an unconditional way. What makes you feel good? You can change the thoughts by appreciation. Thankfulness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this. I appreciate that. You have things in your life. Yes, they may be conditions. It's okay. Because whatever it does, it takes to make you feel good at that moment. I'm appreciative of having my living circumstance right now. I love my little house. It serves me. I'm exactly where I need, and it's perfect. I'm exactly where I am, and it's perfect. Okay? It may not be my dream home that I'm going towards because we are creators. We are creator beings. We are sourced beings in a physical body. And we came here to manifest. We came here for the process of manifestation. Okay? So to understand the laws of creation is really simple. Okay? We're emotional beings, and if we are meant to feel good. And when you feel good, then that is your point of attraction to which everything that you've ever desired and dreamed of will come to you. It's a letting go. It's a surrender. Not to be so much in your ego. A lot of people rather be right than to actually feel happy and to feel good. You want to prove yourself to the other person or the circumstance going on. Your ego wants the best, and to be right than you to feel good. You walk away going, ha ha ha, I got them, but then you check your solar plexus, your heart space, and it doesn't feel very good. So that's your indication at any given time that you'll know if you're connected to the source within you. We're all source beings. There's no one better or worse. We're all here in this physical reality to expand creation, and boy, is it expanding. So, unconditional living means that person is not going to change for you. If it's a love relationship, if it's a family member, if it's a coworker, again, government, so anything coming at you. If you're trying to effort with resistance and pushing against to make them change or to rally and advocate for something in which doesn't make you feel good, then you're going to get resistance against you. And that's why a lot of the times we feel like the world's coming at us when we're creating it ourselves. And this is hard to hear for some of you too, because we weren't taught this. We were taught to, go out there and, fight for your rights, fight for your position. And what we're having here is a teaching of selfishness, but not selfish as in, narcissistically selfish, where you're not, we're using that lightly here, narcissistically selfish, where you're just caring about yourself and you're doing everything for yourself and not for anything else. No, you are creator, you're God. So it's a benefit for all of creation, not just here in this earth. There's many earths, not just here on this plane, but for all beings everywhere. And so by giving away your power to a circumstance, you're giving up your seniority, your sovereignty. All right. But if you understand the law of the creation, your inner being always has your back. When you're in alignment, you feel good. That's how your indication is. When you're not feeling good, you're simply just going away from which your higher self is not seeing. Your higher self doesn't look over there at that person that's doing something that you feel is wrong, because there's no wrong or right. Okay. You mind your business. You keep to yourself. In a sense where you can't expect people to change. You can't expect the governments to change overnight because you don't agree, or the financial institution that you have this belief, which are just thoughts you just kept thinking over and over again. You have a belief that there's something wrong here, or you're getting taken advantage of. There's a lot of suspicion and paranoia when you're not connected to your source. And so it does take practice. It takes consistent practice every day. Stay in a mode of appreciation. If you use what you use, and you use what you use for what you needed at the time. There's no set way of doing this. Everybody's an individual. And what we say, there's about 3 things. Meditation is key every day, about 20 minutes, half hour. You could go longer than that. If you fall asleep, that's okay. Listen to a sound. Listen to a fan. I have an app, air conditioner sound on there. Okay? You can listen to your breath, heartbeat. Listen to any sound that's in a room. Focus on the sound. Your mind chatter comes in, back to the sound. I've had to, get myself back to the sound about 10, 20 times in the 20-minute period sometimes, okay? So not every day is going to be consistent. Some days you'll feel better at meditation than others. When you can't meditate, which is when you're not feeling well, do not. That's not a good time to just try to listen to a sound, because you're too, riled up with the emotion that you're feeling. Well, then you go to sleep. If you can't sleep, then you distract yourself. You tire yourself out. Eventually, you'll want to sleep. Get distracted. Okay? And most importantly, if this one works for you, which it does for a lot, is this is how you can change. You could change it in a minute, less than a minute, is through thankfulness and appreciation. Okay? It's abiding. It's abiding to the laws of creation. And when you do this, then your life will be joyous, smoother, and you'll find the happiness and the satisfaction in the moments that come and going forward. And these days are upon you. You will stop arguing for limitations, which is trying to make others, accordingly to change so you feel better. It's the other way around. This works. It's infallible. It's accurate. It's a law. It's not a theory. Okay? You can see it in your own life. Okay? So when we stop giving our attention to that which does not make us feel very good, and it seems counterintuitive at times, guys. We know. But this is the trusting, and this is the having faith that this is accurate. And you just put it to use, apply it, see the results, see the results, get back to us. We'd love to hear your input on this. You've seen it already. You've lived long enough to see that if you give any kind of friction or resistance against anything, you're going to get that back. And then it builds up more and more momentum, and you're going to keep getting that. Okay. So what you're doing now is you're reversing. You're going to turn the ship around. But sometimes it takes a little bit to turn that ship around. You're not going to be a superstar at this. And don't get upset if you have a day and you're screaming at the walls or screaming at somebody and then you feel bad. Then you're adding to it. Okay. That we're telling you that it's okay at any given time to feel any which way you want. Okay. You'd be arguing for limitations. You have a guidance system, and they're called your emotions. And most of us were born into this world, and we were not told that our feelings matter. We certainly weren't told that our feelings matter, and that's our point of attraction, in which everything physical is going to come at us, okay? But we're not doing it for the physical manifestations. We're doing it truly, truly, and this is a big one. Take a good deep breath. We're doing it truly to feel good. To feel good. You never have to state your case to anybody to feel good. And you're going to become snobby. You're going to become vibrationally accurate to how you want to feel. You're going to get sensitive. I've had people ask me, is it normal for all hell to break loose when I start meditation? Yes, indeed. Because now you're getting in touch with your emotions. And your emotions here in this realm are your attraction point. We can't say it enough. So, Amu, is it true that, if I'm feeling bad at the moment, that I really, to get feeling good is the key? Yes. Yes. All the time. All the time. But you can't expect yourself to feel good all the time, because you're in a time and space reality, which you were born into, a physical body, so that you said, hey, I'll go. And then you got here and you're like, sometimes some of you went, can I go back? Just get me back, please. And sometimes you do end up back there through a lot of resistance, and splat, you end up into the non-physical, and then you have no more resistance again, and you want to go, I want to go back again. So you were doing this for eternity. Okay, it may not be in this realm, in this actual location of this earth, but creation is expanding all the time, and there's no end to it. It's expanding because of you. It's expanding because you came here as a physical being in time-space reality, a sourced physical being. You cannot not be connected to source. You can't. It's impossible. Thank goodness for that guidance system of emotions. And this is what we're doing. This is what you say, the new earth, as many are putting out there. The new world in which we're in now. We're getting better at doing. We're getting better at trusting. Getting better at easing off of ourselves. Just take it easy. Relax. Stop beating yourself over the head. If all of a sudden you have an emotion that's not other than happy, satisfied, content, elated. No, you can't expect that. Every time you have an emotion, you are expanding creation. Why? Because you're asking for more. You're asking for more. That's your job as a human. Ask. You're expanding creation through the non-conditional way of being. And the process in which you will see the physical manifestations come. Okay? Believe it first, and then. Believe it first, and then. It's totally topsy-turvy in which we were told and taught. The children coming in here have a knowing of this, and they'll be teaching you. They'll be teaching us. Okay? So you could share it with others, but really do it for yourself first. Do it for yourself first, and you will see the results, and it will come right out of your tongue like this, and then people will understand it, and then you go from there. You can't bring anybody along. You can't. But what you can do is feel good and then influence the conditions around you. You set up the conditions. You become a pointer. My little magic wand here. It's a paintbrush too. Abracadabra. Poof. I create as I feel. I create as I speak. The law of attraction doesn't hear your words, but it knows what you mean and feel. So you can't fake it till you make it. You can't throw out words and then and then expect the force to then deliver. It doesn't work that way. Once you understand this, you start feeling lighter, you start feeling happier, you start feeling more connected to the others, and you understand the others better. You understand the world at large better. You're not giving into the ills of their conditional ways. You can't get poor enough. You can't get sick enough. You can't get disconnected enough to help the others. So it is an act of selfishness. You first, the oxygen mask on yourself first in the airplane. They teach you this. And then help the mother and the baby next to you. You can't help the others. You have to help yourself first. Okay? So feel good first, and then you have influence, a natural influence, and you'll see it. You will see the results. It's a trusting. As you first get into this, it takes a little practice. Try it. Test it. Try it out. Feel good first, and then you'll start seeing things change around you. That in which used to bother you doesn't bother you anymore, or little, less and less, and then it just doesn't. It falls away. Why? Because whatever you give your attention to will show up in your reality. It's a very simple thing, but not so simple. And the fact that you've been living a whole entire life the other way. Okay? So your feelings matter. It's your attraction point. Whatever you give your attention to will show up in your reality. You can change your attraction point for appreciation and thankfulness for everything that you have around you, for the love that you have. Any of those emotions, the unconditional feelings that you have for everything, practice it every day, and you will start seeing some grand results around you. First with the little things. Perhaps maybe it's a big thing. It's okay. Little, small, doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You know, you can knit a sweater or build a castle. No better, no worse. We are here to create and do a process called deliberate creation, but it's not for the manifestations. So in summary, really, get happy and then see what happens. But what happens isn't going to be the end all for your happiness, okay? So, for instance, you have people who may win the lottery or come into a lot of money through inheritance. And at first, it makes them really feel really good. They can do things, you know, their energy's flying high. They can buy all this stuff, do all those other things, you know, take those trips, buy the boats, buy the houses. And then after a while, it starts simmering down because that truly didn't make them happy. We are eternal beings, vibrational eternal beings, and we all co-created this place. And now is the time. Now is the time. It's always now. Now. You were born now, live now, die now, float around the ethereal now, come back into incarnation now, do it all over again. You can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. Even if you feel, you know, you have all these books to write and you're on your deathbed, that's okay. You'll come back soon. You'll do it again and then again and again and again and again for another 30 lifetimes if you want to do that. There's many places you could go, not just here. Okay? Say you're multi-talented and you want to get it all done. You can't. Not in this lifetime. Phew. That takes a lot of pressure off. We don't have the pressure to prove anything to anybody but to yourself. That literally to be happy is the key. It feels good. It feels good, right? Right? It feels good to be happy. And you're like, yes, Meryl, but you can't expect someone who is way on the lower emotional scale to get up where we're talking about here. So there's a process to get you to the point where you're not giving away your energy to that in which you don't need to do. Again, we were taught to not feel good and to rehash things over and over again, to get that some kind of morsels of information to solve a problem or conclude an issue. You'll never get it done. It won't happen. Just walk away, walk away, walk away. Some people rather feel right than feel good. Okay, so that's the message for today. I'm a go on here and start my painting. Feel good and let the influence create the change. Feel good and let the influence create the changes around you. Okay? So I hope that helps you. And thank you for listening. Namaste.